How's everyone doing today? It's your boy JJ Domination, and yeah, you're wondering why I haven't recorded some videos in a while. Well, I was on vacation, thanks for asking. And yeah, I'm back, just got back, figured I'd set my PlayStation up and we'd talk about some things. So I went on vacation for my birthday. My birthday was actually Friday, July 5th. It is July 6th as of recording. So yeah, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. NBA free agency has happened. I'm just going to talk about this one big situation. And I'll probably do a live with Aaron or something. A live stream on YouTube. Talking about free agency in general. I'm not going to go in depth about this on the live, but I will for this particular video because I am actually an Oklahoma City Thunder fan. For those that have not known, I've been a fan of this team since they were the Supersonics. Actually, when I was 7, I started following that team a little bit. They ended up relocating to Oklahoma City. It was pretty cool. I hated it for Seattle because like they lost a pro team, but for Oklahoma, you know, the state of Oklahoma, I have some family that lived there and I know they were happy to get a basketball team. And you know, it's a love-hate relationship with people who have to watch their franchise go somewhere else. But yeah, let me just go ahead and just get into it. I'm going to try not to be biased. I'm going to try to just keep it strictly about basketball. I'm not going to have my emotions play a factor in how I talk about these things. We're keeping it strictly hoops, man. That's how we have to do it. So, as you can see on these rosters, we have Danilo Gallinari, who's coming from the Clippers to the Thunder. Same thing with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Probably wondering how that happened. Well, let's go to the Clippers real quick. What do you notice? Kawhi Leonard has signed with the Los Angeles Clippers, and Paul George is traded to the Los Angeles Clippers. First, I'm going to talk about Kawhi Leonard. Then I'm going to talk about Paul George. And then I'm going to talk about Russell Westbrook. And then I'm going to talk about my favorite team, Oklahoma City as a whole. Somewhere in there, I'll talk about the Clippers and their title chances. This may be a longer video. Just going to keep it real with you guys. So if you have time, put on your headphones, go heat up some food or get some popcorn, get a beer. I don't know, man. Whatever the hell y'all do in the day. Just get prepared to watch this. So Kawhi Leonard, I don't know why he's listed as a shooting guard. I'm just going to fix this, man. He's not a shooting guard. Yeah, he's not a shooting guard. He's not starting at the 2 for this team. I highly doubt it. They'll probably go Beverly, Shamet, Paul George, Kawhi, and Zubac, which is a pretty good starting lineup. Anyway, let's just talk about it. So Kawhi Leonard, the biggest fish in the ocean of free agents, I guess you could say, was really the last big free agent to sign, man. I mean, we saw all the other moves take place, you know, with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving going to the Brooklyn Nets. Anthony Davis ended up getting traded to the Lakers. We talked about that in depth with Aaron on the J&A basketball special for our podcast. And you know, we just seen a lot of the big stars just move around, man. Like, we've seen it happen. Kawhi was the last guy. He's kind of waiting. The whole world is starting to get impatient. They're wondering what Kawhi is going to do. You have the media putting out their narratives per usual. The Los Angeles media, who are pro-Laker media, just going to keep it real. That's what they are. We're not going to sugarcoat things. They're pro Los Angeles Lakers. And you hear people like Chris Broussard, who, by the way, he looks like an absolute clown because Kawhi Leonard ended up picking the team that he reported on national TV on 2 shows Colin Cowherd's The Herd and Skip and Shannon's Undisputed, he ended up reporting on national TV on 2 shows that my sources have told me that the Raptors are not the Raptors, the Clippers are out of the race. It's between the Raptors and the Lakers, and it's 99% Lakers or whatever he said. Basically, he said the Clippers were out, and the team that ironically he came out on television and said was out ended up being the team that he signed with, and I'm pretty sure he'll make up some bullshit to cover his ass and justify how he screwed that one up Monday, or else he'll probably just come out and be like, I didn't see this coming. My sources told me one thing, Kawhi does another thing. He's his own person. He'll say some bullshit to cover himself up. You know, you got to do what you got to do in the business. I'm not going to judge him, I guess, but he definitely got that wrong. Kawhi, go in here. Let's just talk about that real quick. I'll go more in depth about it with Aaron. I really liked the signing. I had a feeling he was going to choose the LA Clippers over the Raptors and the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers thing came about kind of later in the process in terms of like the 2 teams. Everyone for a while thought it was Clippers Raptors. The Lakers kind of came about as soon as the Lakers were able to clear up enough money for a max contract caliber player, so like 32 million ish. And you know, Kawhi took the meeting. Apparently, when he took the meeting, he was also talking to Paul George on the low and planning out their own meeting while in the meeting with Magic Johnson. I find that hilarious. I just had a feeling he was going to pick the Clippers. I didn't really lock it. I didn't set it in stone, but I just had a feeling. Even when the media was pushing that dumb narrative that he is out on the Clippers, no longer interested, I just had a feeling that he was going to go there regardless. It just seemed like the perfect fit. A stable organization, you know, a great coach and great ownership, great GM, a great supporting cast. It was just all set in stone. It was meant to be for Kawhi Leonard to sign with this team. Of course, there were rumors if he wanted a co-star. He wanted Jimmy Butler, apparently. I didn't want any guards really to come to this team, so really, realistically, Paul George was kind of out of left field, but it had to have been Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler goes to the Miami Heat. I had a feeling that a free agent was going to go out of left field and go to Miami. I thought it'd be Kyrie. It wasn't. It was Jimmy Butler. But Paul George, because Kawhi Leonard was talking about being traded or whatever, or I meant signing with this team, Paul George ended up requesting a trade to go to the Clippers, and apparently it shocked the Oklahoma City Thunder. And for a team that was shocked, and for a team that, you know, kind of saw this coming out of nowhere, they made a pretty damn good trade for the future that we will officially break down in a little bit. But just look at this roster, man. Look at what Kawhi Leonard and Paul George joined. You know, we all talked about last year. The Los Angeles Clippers were the 8th seed with, you know, their best 2 players coming off the bench, man. A team that traded Tobias Harris, who was their best player, to the Philadelphia 76ers for basically Landry Shamet and Wilson Chandler, who's no longer here, and like some picks that are now going to Oklahoma City. But they basically turned Tobias Harris and Blake Griffin into Kawhi, Paul George, and they also turned Chris Paul into Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell, Patrick Beverly. I mean, this entire team, outside of Kawhi Leonard, was made through a bunch of trades. Just keep that in mind, people. This entire team was basically constructed out of strictly trades, except for Kawhi Leonard, who just came here as a free agent. I mean, these two, Kawhi and Paul George, are going to be joining Lou Williams, who just won 6th Man of the Year. Montrezl Harrell, who was in the running, has been constantly improving his game. JaMychal Green, who, you know, last year when he got into the rotation, proved that he can give you valuable minutes. Ivica Zubac, you know, a nice young center that the Lakers foolishly let go for nothing. I don't know, actually. I think these rosters may be incorrect. I don't know if JaMychal Green is still on this team. I'm just going to assume for the sake of the video he is. Patrick Beverley, of course. 3 years, $40 million. I mean, it's a hell of a contract. You know, for a player like him who is a grit and grinder, a good defender, or a great defender, and a pretty solid three-point shooter. Landry Shamet can score the ball as well. Showed flashes of what he could do last season. Roddy McGruder, going to be a nice combo guard off the bench. Mo Harkless is going to give you some defensive flexibility. And that's basically it. But you got some decent depth players, some guys that you could develop for the future as well. But Paul George was traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder, or traded to the Los Angeles Clippers for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Danilo Gallinari, 5 first-round picks. It's a record-setting amount of first-round picks involved in a trade. 4 unprotected, 1 lottery-protected, that is the Miami Heat's pick. And, you're going to swap 2 picks, and the Thunder are going to get the better of the picks. I do want to talk about the Clippers' title chances. If you had to ask me right now, where would I rank this team in terms of, best odds to win a championship? Definitely top 3, because you got to think they were the 8th seed last year in the West with no superstar players. You add a superstar, and you add a guy who, at one point in his career, looked like he was going to be a superstar. And he's probably the closest thing to a superstar, Paul George, that you're going to get. Kawhi is a bona fide superstar. He just won Finals MVP. Now let's go to the Oklahoma City Thunder side. They traded for Danilo Gallinari, who's on a 1-year deal. The game, I know it's weird right now. It says 2 years. He's on a 1-year deal. That's because I have it set up in my league right now. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who... he's a 6'6" guard. Came in a pretty good draft class. Trae Young, of course, was in the running for Rookie of the Year. Colin Sexton dropped 17 points. Made an all-rookie first team. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was really good. Played valuable minutes in the playoffs. They had him playing some small forward at times. I mean, Shai Gilgeous was very valuable down the stretch. But he's coming to this team who basically, they're going to have to probably reload. And you're probably like, well, why would they have to reload? They have Westbrook, they have Adams, Danilo Gallinari, Jeremy Grant, Dennis Schroeder could play the 2 guard, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You probably wondered, okay, why would they have to rebuild? Because Russell Westbrook demanded a trade. He demanded a trade. But let's be honest, right? Put yourself in Russell Westbrook's shoes. These are the teammates Russell Westbrook has had throughout his career. Not at the same time necessarily, but just to give you some context as to why he would want out of this situation. He's played with James Harden, who has been in the MVP discussion for the last 3 or 4 seasons. Kevin Durant, who has been one of the best players in the NBA for the last 5 seasons plus. Serge Ibaka, who he was a key player for the Toronto Raptors on that championship team this past season, and overall has had a pretty sustainable career. Carmelo Anthony, who, a lot of people would laugh at, but, at one time Carmelo Anthony was great. And I think that needs to be recognized. I don't think it's a laughing matter. His career may not have been ending the way people expect it, but he has been a great player throughout his career nonetheless. And Paul George, who just got traded, he has not won a championship. I just named 5 really good players. Great. Probably all going to be Hall of Famers. He has never won a title with any of that talent around him. And it's just so crazy to think about. This team had all that talent, a team that I've been rooting for 11 to 12 seasons. They have not won a damn thing. They went to the finals once in 2011 in the early stages of Westbrook's career. Let's see, it was 2011, 2012. It was this season right here. I think he was here, let me try to get the numbers right. So technically in real life he's like 30, 31. So yeah, he was like 23 this season, the season that he went to the finals. And, you know, you had like Kevin Durant, who was like probably 22, 23 at the time. James Harden was pretty young himself. So it was a very young team. Granted, they were very talented. They beat the Los Angeles Lakers in a playoff series against Kobe and Powell. And, you know, they had a really good run. And, you know, they ran into the Miami Heat, a more experienced, you know, LeBron, D-Wade, Bosh team. You know, that dynasty that was running things for a bit. So yeah, Westbrook hasn't won a championship. He has been a beast throughout his career. I know people knock him for being inefficient. That's fine. I've been harsh on him too about being inefficient, but you know what? If you had to bank on any player that would leave it all on the court and give you 100%, no matter what, Westbrook would be the guy, man. He would. But it sucks. It is what it is. I don't blame him one bit for wanting a trade. Just how his career has been going, how it's gone, some of the great players that he's played with, and has nothing to show for it. I mean, I would want out too. 10 years of this bullshit, I would definitely want out too. I'm just gonna be honest. You know, loyalty, you can only be loyal to a degree, especially in sports these days with player mobility being emphasized, it seems like, especially in the NBA. Westbrook has given everything to the city, everything to the organization. He's just frustrated. He wants out. I can't really blame him. But let's talk about the trade now. You know, we talked about Danilo and Shai Gilgeous. Let's talk about the draft picks. You know, they're getting draft picks for 2020. They're getting an unprotected Clippers pick. The picks are going to be, like, not that valuable, but they could be, you know, later on throughout the process. They're getting like a 2021 Miami Heat unprotected. Maybe the Miami Heat are trash in a couple years. I don't know. Anything can happen with that pick. And then the 2022 Clippers pick, I'm pretty sure, unprotected. And there's another Miami Heat pick the following season, but it's a lottery protected, so which means that the Miami Heat would have to be a playoff team in order to get that pick, which if they're not, you know, we get to keep it, which would be great for us, bad for Miami, us being Oklahoma City. Like I said, I'm a Thunder fan. And then I'm pretty sure there's another unprotected pick from the Clippers, and then, you know, after those picks, you know, I'm pretty sure we have to swap picks with the Clippers, and we'll get the more valuable pick when it's all said and done for both swaps. So yeah, this is like a record margin of picks that we're getting. Danilo Gallinari, I know the game says he's on a 2-year deal. He's on a 1-year deal. Let me actually look at the contract, if it'll let me. Yeah, he's on a 1-year deal. 2019, he's going to be making $22 million. He doesn't have a player or team option, so he's going to hit the market. But we will have bird rights to him, so we could try to extend him, you know, at the March 1st deadline or whatever. Shai Gilgeous, he's on his rookie deal. You know, he's young. He's going to be locked into his rookie deal until the 2022 offseason, which I'm cool with, man. I really like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He definitely showed me some things coming out of Kentucky. I didn't know a whole lot about him. I just knew that he had length, was a pretty solid defender, had a sweet mid-range game. That's all I really knew about him because I don't really watch college basketball. But I got to see him play for the LA Clippers. He looked really good at times and kind of just gelled in perfectly. With this team, I think he'll have a team where he can grow. I mean, he'll have chemistry with Gallinari. He could be nice with Steven Adams and Jeremy Grant. You never know, man. You just never know. If Russell Westbrook gets traded, we're here in the Miami Heat, which I don't want to trade him to Miami because we have their picks. I don't want them to be good. No offense. I would trade him to the Knicks, and I'm gonna just go ahead and tell you what I want from the Knicks. Just gonna get this out of the way. I want Bobby Portis. Okay, I want Bobby Portis, Dennis Smith Jr., Mitchell Robinson, Alonzo Trier, Kevin Knox, and we will give you 2 first-round picks ours and probably, you know, one of the Clippers picks, 2020 most likely. But yeah, we want like a haul, man. We need some young players. We'll take on Bobby Portis only for contract reasons, so that way the contracts will be able to match up. Maybe we'll take on a different player like a Taj Gibson. Is he even on this roster? Yeah, the person that made this roster sucks, but so is the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're gonna suck in a few years, but it is what it is, man. As a fan, it's a little frustrating, but they weren't able to do anything with the team. That's the reality. I mean, 2019, 2020 for the NFL and the NBA, it's basically going to be my theme, as you'll hear from my prediction videos. When that happens, it's the year of reality. The reality is Oklahoma City, they weren't going to win a championship with Westbrook and Paul George with this roster. They weren't going to be able to do it. So just reload, you know, reset the roster, reset the team. You weren't going to be able to compete. You were a 6 seed last year, and you got wiped out in the first round by the Portland Trailblazers, who you wiped out in the regular season, which it doesn't mean a damn thing in the playoffs. You know, and Steven Adams, apparently the Hawks are interested in Steven Adams. I don't know what Steven Adams' trade value is, but Atlanta, I'm going to be honest with you. I know we can't get Trae Young. Maybe we could get John Collins, and to match contracts, I would say... You see, this person who did the rosters didn't update it. These two players are gone. So, yeah, it would be like John Collins and this guy, wherever he is, whoever this guy is, Chandler Parsons. Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. I'd do a deal like that for Steven Adams, get John Collins and Chandler Parsons. That would be cool, you know. But as a Thunder fan, it's rough. It is what it is. You know, maybe one day we can win a title. I don't know when that day will come. But yeah, man, the superstars, they don't want to be in Oklahoma City. Don't blame them. Your organization hasn't really proven, you know, anything. They haven't given you a reason to want to stick around if you're a star player. You know, it's just, it's not that the front office sucks or anything, but there's just definitely a level of complacency. It's like getting to the playoffs as their season goal every year, and it's like whatever happens from there, it just doesn't matter. They just kind of run it back. They'll make some moves here and there to make it feel like it's fresh. You know, like, it just feels like there's a level of complacency there. But we did get a hell of a trade for Paul George. You got to think, when we traded for Paul George, you know, we traded Victor Oladipo, who everyone's going to look at Victor Oladipo now and be like, oh, you guys got ripped off. But Victor Oladipo was, you know, he wasn't the all-star Victor Oladipo when we had him. He was the dude in the slam dunk contest when we had him. So I think people are going to get that confused. And Sabonis, you know, he was averaging like, what did he average his rookie season? I don't want to put words in my mouth. What did he do his rookie season? Yeah, he averaged like 10 points with this team. And he just wasn't an efficient player. He shot 40% from the field, 32 from 3. Like, he just wasn't that good. And he played 36 minutes a game and was just ass. Like, come on, man. Didn't even have good rebound numbers. I don't know, man. He just wasn't good. He just wasn't good. There's nothing I can really say. He just really wasn't that good with us. So it's not like we were hurt there. And you got to think, when we traded for Victor Oladipo and the 9th overall pick, which ended up being Domantas Sabonis, we gave up Serge Ibaka. So in theory, if you look at this Paul George trade for Gallinari, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, those picks, we basically turned Serge Ibaka into Danilo Gallinari, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and like 7 picks. Basically, that is exactly what just happened here. So in theory, it's like we turned Serge Ibaka into a bunch of picks. And Gallinari, he'll probably leave. He's going to have a big market. especially if he has a good year with OKC. You know, he's a great three-point shooter. I know the game isn't going to have his updated numbers because last year he didn't have the greatest year from three. But throughout his career, you know, about 37% from three. I know last year he shot it really well. But it is what it is, man. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Yeah, my team's going to suck for a while, especially if Westbrook gets traded, which he probably will be. It's pretty much a certainty. And the Clippers, you know, probably going to be a title favorite next season. They're already the favorites according to Vegas right now. It was the Los Angeles Lakers. Now it's them, the Clippers. So, yeah, we will see. Peace out, guys. And one like and one view equals one prayer for me with my severe NBA depression with Oklahoma City. Thank you, guys. Peace.